Hello, guys of United Rock Nations. We are an amazing company with Des of Devil Driver. How are you?
I am fine, thank you, sir. I hope you're doing well.
Very well. We are here, of course, to talk about the new album Strike and Kill. After two Dealing with Demons albums, which were very personal and introspective, what was your mindset when you started working on Strike and Kill?
Well, because we have John Miller, my bass player, back in the band after a
Exactly.
very long hiatus,
Exactly.
and he wrote the first five records with me, and then having one new member, well, which is Gabe, the guitar player, who also produced
Exactly.
the record. My mindset was really on let us please take a look at what Devil Driver is. Let us write for the logo. And so when we started having conversations about writing the record, I said, look, guys, I'm not going to tell you a direction to go, but don't write what you want to write personally. Write what you feel the logo needs to be written for. And certainly when I got the first four or five songs, they knew exactly the mission. And I knew we were on the right train as soon as we got the first, I would say 3 to 5 songs. I knew that we were on the right path as far as writing the record. We have a lot of records, Devil Driver, almost 10 or 11 now. And there are some records that have strayed from the path a little, which is fine. Artistically, you can never stay in the same place. But I feel that this record needed to come back to start, needed to come back to what we are, what we were, but don't look to the past, right? Kind of move forward, look for the future, move forward, but write something that fits with what we need. With any art form, you never write for the listener, right? Or if you're painting and you hear that if you use red paint, you'll sell a lot of paintings. You don't immediately start painting with red. That's the first thing with art that you do. But I think we needed to actually come back to start and give the fans what they truly were longing for, and I think we've done that.
Great. Okay. So let's come again with the strike and kill. So I know that Gabe Mangold was also the producer of the album. How important was his role in shaping the sound of Strike and Kill?
Well, I don't know how important he was to shaping the sound. I know that I was very weary on having a band member produce, but I had heard much of the production that he's done. And then I had a very long conversation with Gabe and said, listen, I work very differently. I won't labor 4 hours on a 3 hour song. I want everything in the first and the second take. I want it to be fiery and out the box. It must sound urgent, or it's not going to work. And I said, so how fast can you work? Do you work quickly? Because you'll do a take, listen back. Okay, let's go, let's go, let's go. And he certainly stepped up to the challenge. We only had one day where we
Ooh.
tried to labor over a song and it just simply was not coming. And so during that time, sorry, my dog is seeing somebody outside and he's very protective of the family. Let me go in here right now. So, I think that having Gabe in the band, but also producing was a great thing. He caught a lot of very fiery, one take, two takes. Most of the choruses are 1 to 2 takes. Almost all of the verses are one takes on this record. And you'll feel it when you hear the songs. You feel that there's an urgency, that there's something captured in the moment. Many bands take a 3.5, 4 minute song and labor for hours over it. And I think they're missing the point, right? Elvis would do things this way. Actually, he would maybe do 20 takes of a song, like sing the whole song 20 times, then come back and choose the right take. But he wouldn't sit and labor over the song over and over and over. He would continuously say, nope, start again, start again. So in order to do that with what we do here, it has to be captured in the moment, and which this record certainly is. There's a fiery existence around these songs that would not have had that had we not had the energy in the room.
Exactly, and that's a great. We when we hear the album, we thought that it was really a rose sound. It was a good sound, absolutely. Um, let's talk about the lyrics of the album. Many songs on this album seems to be about survival, resilience, and overcoming difficult times. That's something that reflects what you are today. What is your life today?
I mean, I think so. I have an autobiography that's done and coming out next year. It's a two-book deal, and the first book will be about Coal Chamber years, and the next one is Devil Driver. For those who don't know, I mean, I had a rough childhood. I left home at a very early age. I went to Hollywood. I slept under bridges. I stole food to eat. I went to jail. I had a rough
Oh,
one, and I think that when you come through adversity, you can either say, woe is me, and you end up to be a very negative person to be around, or you find the positive and the learning aspects of what you've gone through. And then, for people's knowledge, the last 5, 6 years have been very difficult. For instance, if you're sitting in jail, you either say to yourself, I'm never going to fuck up again and end up here, excuse my language, or you can end up a repeat offender and end up keep coming back, keep coming back. And I did the first one, which is like, okay, I never want to be in this position again. So what did I do to get here? You know, um, for younger people listening to this, my mother always had a saying, and they quite frequently in the United States it's used, probably abroad as well. But you are who you run with. So try to run with good people, positive people. Take that to your life, and I just happen to be the kind of person that the glass is always half full, not half empty. And I would like to be the guy that gives that to people musically and in interviews like this. Really,
great state of mind, fantastic. Great
thank you,
spirits, great state of
thank you,
mind.
thank you.
So, is that right that you wrote 30 songs on
Yeah,
the
I think it was more along the lines of maybe somewhere I'd have to really look, right, somewhere. And again, you get pieces of parts of songs too. You get, here's a verse and a chorus. Nah, don't go that far. So can you call that a song? So I would say somewhere between 22 and 26 songs to narrow it down to a solid 15, 16, then to narrow it down to 13. And I think it's very important to write a bulk of material in order to find what fits in the pieces, right? It's a great analogy, right? But you go to a buffet of food and you realize that the Chinese food doesn't really sit well with the Italian food, but the Italian food sits well next to Spanish food. So this is musically how I think as well. Give me a bulk of a material, we will all decide what fits and what doesn't, and we'll throw, I don't want to say trash, but we'll throw the trash out and we'll keep the good stuff. I happen to be very democratic in the way that I run the band. For instance, okay, guys, what songs do you want to go on the record? You make the choice, not me. What is the order of the songs on the record? You make the choice, not me. I found the album art. I designed the album art with my designer. Do you like it? Yes.
yes.
Okay. Is this the right direction? Yes. Okay. Let's run with it. What song do you guys want to be the first, second, and third single? I'm not going to choose these. They chose those. So there has to be a very democratic state of mind in a band or it doesn't work. I have a feeling over these years that people seem to think that both of my bands, Coal Chamber, Devil Driver, are the Dez show. It is
Absolutely.
quite the opposite. So let me paint the picture right now that it is very much the opposite. I rely on them 65, 75% of the time. I am just a menial part of things. I am just the lyricist and the vocalist. I am by no means 50%, 75% of what this art is at all, and would never take responsibility for being that. And I come at it with a very humble attitude, and I come at art, any art. I also paint, I sculpt, my wife paints. We come at art in a very humbling, grateful manner, and I think that's when you get the best art out of it, music, painting, whatever have you.
Humble and democratic. Great. That's
Yes, absolutely democratic. Yes, 100%.
So I have to talk about some songs. In the Moonlight is probably one of my favorite songs of the album. Tell us more about that song.
You are not the only one. Um, this was a song that came to me, I would say the fourth or fifth song that came to me from the band. I wrote that song in one evening after my wife and I had laid underneath a tree on my property, watched the sun go down underneath that tree, watched the stars, sat outside for hours talking, watching the stars and things go by in the sky, and I went right in the studio. I stayed in the studio for maybe 2.5, 3 hours and wrote that. And that track has to do with my relationship with my wife, and it is a love song to what I think women are. Now, let me get to that point. I was raised by my mom and my four sisters predominantly. A lot of the time in my life, it was just me and my mom. When it wasn't, I had two stepfathers that I used to fight all the time, and they were big guys. And so I kind of learned to be tough, very tough at an early age. And I go back to that feminine ability that women have. Women are the only ones that give birth. Women have, I think, more love in them than men, have
Yeah.
more patience.
Yes.
And I think that this song just really just came out of me, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Great song. There's another song that I love a lot. It's Dead in the
You
Water.
know, and I mean, I'm sorry, just to go to that, it's my wife who has been feeding 20 crows for like 6 years outside of my house. Like, she talks to cats, she flies with bats, is very kind of this witchy woman. Her and her mother are both redheads, born on the same day. So she has this magical thing around her and always has. And I felt like I needed to do a tribute to her, to the women in my life, to the women of kind of the world that see the world in a spiritual manner that men can't, because we are warriors and we're supposed to be that way, right? To protect them, but also we need their spirituality the way they think, or we
Absolutely.
die on the vine, right? They are our water. Without them, we don't drink, we die. So yeah, I have a very strong sense of me that most of the people I work with are women in my industry. I run several other companies. I work with mainly all women. They seem to be more adapt to the world. They see things that men don't. And that for me is a pleasure to be around and a pleasure to work with as well. So yeah, that's that story.
Great story. So I was talking about another song that I love a lot. Is Dead in the Water. I think it's a positive song talking about the lyrics, but the music is very heavy. Tell us more about this contrast between the lyrics and the song and the
Well,
music.
when I got the song itself, it was obvious to me that somehow they had really struck a nerve where they were writing. It sounded like the first or second record, to be honest with you, and I immediately gravitated toward this track. And the lyrics again came out very quickly. I wrote this record very quickly, so fast that I started to send them voice notes of the record and said, am I being lazy? It's coming out so quickly. And they said, no, don't change a thing, whatever you're doing. I mean, there was points in time when my wife would come downstairs at 2 in the morning and I'd be asleep in my studio because I couldn't leave the computer. I couldn't leave the songs. And I think the song is heavy, very groovy, very old school for us, for sure. Lyrically, the chorus really should resonate, right? Another day, another dollar, and make no mistake about it, no matter what goes on in your life, my life, anybody's life listening, you need to get up for the day. You need to get to work. You need to keep on what you're doing. So no matter what, you need to go forward in life. You don't just stop because there's shitty things happening in your life, right? You move forward in life, and that's what this song is about. Like, you're dead in the water, or another day, another dollar. Get up, you're dead in the water. So I right now I have been, how do I say this? When you put out art, you never know what anyone's going to think, but you never
Yes.
write for the listener. ever. Never do art for anybody but yourself. And then if they take to it, it's great. And only as of late, since we released, especially Dead in the Water, everybody is kind of coming saying Devil Driver is back. Well, we've never really left, but I think what they're saying is we're back to the sound of who we should be. And I said this previously to you when we first started, that songwriters over a long period of time can start to write for themselves and not for the logo, not for the band, right?
Yes,
And you can't do that. You can't, if I did that, I mean, I love all music. I grew up on punk rock, psychobilly. I listened to a
yes.
ton of Elvis, tiki music, right? But I'm never going to write, I love The Cure. I love Bauhaus. I love Sisters of Mercy. I love
Oh,
goth, but
oh,
I'm never going to write that way. Now, I think in the Moonlight, you definitely get a little Bauhaus and Sisters of Mercy in the beginning of it, for sure. You
yes,
can see my
yes,
goth side.
absolutely, absolutely,
Um,
yes.
I have it's either fortunate or or unfortunate thing that I'm going to say now is like, I really don't have any heavy metal influences. So
Oh,
vocally, I really don't. If I did, it may be Lemmy from Motorhead, maybe, and that's only because I can cover Ace of Spades like nobody's business. I
yes,
mean,
yes,
maybe Danzig, but those vocals that you'll get from me that you would say, oh, okay, there's Danzig influence. Not really. That comes from Bauhaus, Sisters of Mercy. You may hear my growly voice and say, oh, okay, cool. He likes Motorhead, but that's not where it comes from. It really comes from my love of punk rock,
yes.
of psychobilly stuff, the Cramps. I mean, I woke up this morning and I immediately put on. I've got about 500 vinyls, and I put on the Cramps, and was listening to the
Yes,
Cramps, and then went straight to Black Flag and straight to Black Sabbath while I was having coffee. So, unfortunately for my wife, I really don't watch TV and movies. I'm not that guy. I listen to music 24 hours a day. So,
great. It's a good thing.
yeah.
Music.
And if I'm not
Uh,
listening to music and I'm not writing, I'm painting. Really, my wife and I are both pretty experienced painters. I would think that the beginning of next year we're going to have a showing in LA, in Beverly Hills, that a very large gallery has offered us a spot. So we're getting ready for that. And I just believe in art 24/7, and what you leave behind in life when you leave should leave a scar. I certainly hope that somehow I leave a scar when I depart this earth.
Great, great. So let's talk about touring because when we release an album, of course, just after you begin to tour, but we haven't seen any European tour. So what's the plan? What are the plans for touring for coming Europe and of course in France?
Right. Well, first of all, France is a stronghold for me. The UK, stronghold for me. Germany, of course. So this is on purpose. I want to dip my feet in the water slowly. We didn't know when the record was going to come. We didn't know when things were going to come, so we didn't start booking. You got to book those festivals and everything, a year early, right? So
Absolutely,
right
absolutely.
now, I have a calendar of festivals that want us to come over, and offers and all of that. I actually have a call tomorrow with my agent, Paul Ryan, a very good friend as well, to discuss what festivals we're going to do, what festivals we're not. My thing is, I really can't come over to Europe and do 2 months in a row anymore. And so it's incumbent upon my agent to find that 2 to 3 week timeline of festivals when I can come over and do it. You're definitely going to have Devil Driver shows. And yeah, I mean, there's certain places that I can't wait to go, and I mean, I love Paris, obviously, and I love France, but Comer, I love that city, so I'm definitely going to come there and have a day off. It's one of my favorite cities. I ride motorcycles, I ride Harley, so there's a lot of bike clubs out there. Let's just say that I'm
Yes,
friends with that I cannot
okay,
wait to see that come out to see me, and yeah, that's it's definitely going to happen next year, 100%. And also, I think it'll give people time to live with this record, and we won't just come play 2 songs off the record. We could play 5 songs off the record, and you'll, instead of stand there with your phone, right? You'll know the songs, you'll be singing, you'll be in the pit.
fantastic. I will be there. I will be there for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Des, for this for all the information about this new album, Strike and Kill. We hope you the best and see you soon here in France.
Thank you so much for the support,
Thank
and
you.
we'll see you soon, okay?
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Ciao, ciao.